This lesson will show you how to open a Microsoft Word application. You start off by navigating to the Start button. This is found in the lower left-hand portion of your screen. It may be a button or it may have a word Start. When you click on it, it opens up a menu. On this menu, you want to navigate again to where it says All Program. When you select All Programs, it will drop down a menu and show you all the different programs that they have available. We are looking for Microsoft Office, and we are working with 2010 applications. When you select Microsoft Office, you click. It expands the envelope, the folder and you're able to see all the different applications that's inside there. We have Microsoft Access, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft InfoPath Designer, Microsoft InfoPath Filler, Microsoft OneNote, Microsoft Outlook, Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Publisher, and you have a Microsoft SharePoint Workspace and Microsoft Word. We select Microsoft Word and it opens up, and now you're looking at a blank document. On this blank document, you will notice that we have several tabs. We have a File tab, and this opens up a menu that if you want to start a new, you select New, and when you do that, it brings up the many different templates that are available. For our purpose, we always want to select blank document, and once you select blank, you will have to tell it to create. And if you notice also up here it says document 1 in the upper title bar. When I say create, now that title turns to a document 2 because I have opened up a second document. Back to the tabs. We have a Home tab, which on the Home tab we have many different functions. We have a clipboard function, which inside the clipboard we have a paste, and the paste contents is to paste the contents of the clipboard. We have a cut function. You can also use the keystrokes by pressing down the Control and the X after you select your words that you want to be cut. We have a copy. After you select what you want to be copied, you can use your keystrokes, and that's Control C. And lastly, under the clipboard, we have a Format Painter. The Format Painter is a copy formatting from one place and apply it to another, and we'll talk about that later. Again, we have another command group, and it's called Font. Inside the Font group, we have the several different types of options. We have our theme options for our fonts. We have our font size. We have an icon that will increase and decrease our fonts. We have a case change. So if you have a capital and you want to change it to an upper, or if you have a lowercase and you want to change it to an uppercase, and vice versa. And lastly, we have a clear formatting. It clears all the formatting from the section, leaving only the plain text. So if you've put bold or italics or underline, it will strip all of those formatting and just leave it in a plain text. Here you notice that we have a B, and it's important that when you take your mouse and you hover over the icons, it brings back a drop down explanation. So if you're not sure of what something will do, then I will ask for you to take your mouse and slowly work your way down the menu, and you'll be able to find out some of the other functions. Now we're moving over into the paragraph group. In the paragraph group, we have several commands. We have bullets, we have numbering, we have a multi-level list, and we have a decrease and increase. We have a show hide paragraph. And when you want to use these functions, it's just an issue of you clicking on, and if you notice the cursor is in the middle because I asked it to center it, and if I click off, it returns back to the default state, which is over to the left. And if I want to center it to the right, then I click on the right alignment. And justification is to align the text to both the left and the right margin. Now if you want to increase your line spacing, this line spacing is 1.15. If you want just a straight 1, you will select 1. And how can you tell? Without text, now if we hit our enter key, it will show us, we're going to highlight them. We'll look at our spacing, and it's 1.1. If we go to 1.0, 1.5, 2.0, you see the space between there? It shows us that it's at 2 line space. Let's go back to 1, and it's only a 1 line space. If you don't want any line spaces between there at all, you can go to the dialog launch and select more control, and if you go to spacing, under spacing you see we have asked it to give us a 10 point after each spacing. So you notice here we have a 10 point spacing. Well, if I wanted to go to 0 and I want single line, in the preview it shows us what it would look like. If I say OK, and now the space below has disappeared. So now we have a true single space with no spacing in between. The next group we want to show is our styles font. When you are in your styles font, you first select what it is you want to change. We are noticing that we have a highlight around normal, and if we go to our styles and just slightly pull our mouse over it, it changes the font style. So you notice that? So this is light, underline. So now you can, if I want to clear off formatting, we talked about that earlier, we could use that. But if you want to apply a style, then you select the style and you apply it. And the style we have is the quote, ABC. If you want to change the styles itself, you can go in and you can change all the different options that the style is offering. And lastly, on this tab, on the Home tab, we want to see that you have a find. You go and find a word that you're looking for that may be misspelled. And if you want to change that, I'm looking for Miss Burton Curl, and I want to change that to a different text, then you can do that as well. This is showing us that this is found one match, and it's found on page 1 of 1. If you want to replace it, it leaves the text in that you're looking for. And if you want to replace it, you type in below the replacement information, and you can select once, and then it will say that it has reached the end of the document. Do you want to continue at the beginning? I'll say no, because it has made the change from Miss Burton Curl and replaced it with Kyla Burton Curl. And we close it. So these are some features that you want to take note of. Here's your select all, select object, select with text with similar formatting, and selection pane. This shows the selection pane to help select individual objects and to change the order and the visibility. So if you select this pane, it shows you a pane, and every time you see an other pane on the side of your document, you can close it out by selecting the close option. And so as you go down each one of these tabs, they offer you more information on the ribbon. The Insert tab has a group of page control, table controls, illustrations, links, head and footer, text, and symbols. When you want to select a picture, you select it by placing your cursor where you want the picture to be inserted. It opens up a dialog box which shows you insert picture. Then you select the picture that you want to insert, and there you have it. When you want to resize a picture, it's very important that you notice I have a pointer that has changed into 4 prongs. That is selecting my picture. To resize it, I can just slightly grab it on the edge and pull it up with a diagonal arrow. And if you notice, diagonal arrow turns into a crosshair. When you are trying to crop a picture, you first again have to select it, and you notice how I have those little round knobs. Well, something else happens when you select a picture. Before I had only 7 tabs, but now I have one that says Picture Tools, and it's outlined in red. And if you're able to do that, if you again want to close out the panel that you open and you do no longer need it, just select the Close X and click on it, and it will close it down. Now back to the picture. One other thing I want to show you is about cropping. So to crop a picture, you will find that first of all, if you do not have the picture selected, your tool tab will go away. So you have to select the picture, the tool tab will return, and you have some other selections that you can use for the picture, but in this sense we want to do a crop. In order to crop a picture, you again click, which toggles it on, and you can tell that it's on because you notice how it turns into a deep yellow color. And now if I select my picture, I have these black outlines. Now if I want to crop the picture down to size, I would have to make sure that my cropping tool matches the cropping tool that I'm trying to crop. Okay, so if I'm trying to crop vertically, I go up and I want to remove the text from there. Then I click off, and there you have it. I cropped out that word on that picture. Now, lastly, we want to talk about how to position your picture. You can position it with inline, with text wrapping. You notice how your picture can move around? I moved it outside the site. So we're going to use it with inline, with wrapping. There you have it. Very simple way on how to use your insert tablet in inserting a picture. Your next tab talks about your page layout. Your page layout will give you the theme of your page, will show you what the different templates that you can use for that, and we're going to select the Austin template. How can you tell the difference? Because your theme font has a set style on it. You have a built-in color to create your different styles. And you have some different graphics that you can use. Okay? Moving along, you see that you have a page setup, page background, paragraph, arrangement. Now each one of these options you're going to learn more about when you get ready to do an assignment, because it's going to be asking you, for instance, to put a watermark on your document. You will go to page layout, go to watermark, and then you will select, just as easy as clicking, and there you have it. Your watermark appears in your document. You have references. This will come in handy when you're doing those long research papers and you have to add text and you update your tables and put in a table of contents. This is where you will find all of those nifty tools. When you're doing a mail merge, you'll find that information here. The last two tabs that we have is the review. This is the tab you want to become familiar with, because here you have your spell check and your grammar check. You have where you can add little comments into your information. If you are sharing your documents with different people and they're adding changes and stuff, you can track your changes. And when you track them, then you want to say, I accepted or rejected changes when the document is completed. And when you get to view, it shows you the different layouts that you can have a document view of. It shows you your rulers, and you notice here we have our ruler because it's clicked on, and I click off, the ruler is gone. If you ever come to a document and you see these grid lines, it's because you have your grid line clicked on. And then you have your navigation panel, and if you have more than one or two pages, then you're able to see your navigation along here. As you advance on, you'll learn about macros and how to use them, and they're very handy because if you do something repetitious, you can set up a macro and you can just go to your macro and it will immediately just input that information in a set format. Say you're using a form and you need to add people information into a form, you just record it with a macro, and then when you need to use it again, you just bring up the macro and it will do it again. For this is a short tutorial on Microsoft Word. So again, when you're finished in 2010, you want to save a document. You go to your Save function. It opens up a dialog box, and notice up here it says Save As. Often you'll get confused because you'll get a lot of windows opening, but it's the forefront window that you want to pay attention to. And if you're not sure what's happening in your document, always go to the top on the title bar, because the dialog box is going to kind of give you a clue on what it is that you're trying to do. And the dialog box is saying, oh, you want to save as? Yes. Well, where do you want to save it? So far, it says let's go to the library, and it goes to the documents. Well, inside the documents, do you have a folder for yourself? No. Always create a folder. And you're going to create a folder by selecting New Folder. A new folder drops in. It's highlighted in blue, and you just type over it, and it deletes out the information with no spaces. And now you've created a folder, and you can say Open. Now your document trail is Documents Burton Curl, because it has opened up the folder you just created. But you're not done, because you want to give your document a file name. And now you've given it a name, and you're ready to save it. And notice when I push Save, up in the title, it's going to change to Practice. And now you're going to do an assignment that will give you an opportunity to use some of your technical skills on how to do this how to create a document using Microsoft Word.